So I've been hearing a lot about mobile mechanics, and what is that
Yes.
all about?
Oh man, you've talked about dabbling in that.
It's
Well,
true.
Yeah, talk to Ralph. I have some thoughts too, but
You know, it's road service. You're actually going out to people's homes and servicing their vehicles in their driveway, or going out to the street and fixing the cars on the street. We didn't do that for like ever, never. But now I see that there's a need for it. I don't know if there's a need. There's an interest, right? And because the people are not coming into the shop, but they're happy to get cars serviced. I think it's Amazon who started it. Amazon started delivering like packages to the cars. Very interesting. That's like a mobile mechanic. You're gonna go to the car and you're gonna do service there. Things like, and I'm guessing because we haven't done it yet, but things like batteries and whatever's under the hood, I would guess is easy to replace, easy to work on. I don't know how it would work if you're doing heavy work. I mean, what would you do? You know, if you're not putting in quick struts, would you take it apart to put it?
I'm not really looking to rebuild struts on a car, but so I look at this in two different segments. One, we have the mobile mechanic, traditional, I'm gonna come to your house and replace your brakes, or do your timing belt, or your battery, or your air filter. And I think there's amazing opportunity for an individual technician that maybe wants to go out on their own and do that, or a shop that wants to employ a team of people to go be that, we're gonna come do your brakes because you can't bring your car to us today, or your battery, or whatever. The other side I see, which I find way more interesting, is mobile diagnosis, mobile coding and programming. So I'm a dude, I got a van, I'm gonna drive around and I'm gonna come to a shop like one of you guys for that brand new 2020 Mercedes-Benz that needs a module. You don't wanna spend 15 grand to buy the scan tool, so you're gonna sublet that to me and I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna go boop, 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 dial up the mothership and code your module. Now you have a customer, you don't have to put a module in, tow it to the dealership, tow it back and make your customer happy. You employ me to come to you. Cut keys.
We do it now.
Do immobilizer stuff, all of that. I think in those two spaces, and the diagnosis more so than the like nuts and bolts repair, there's such huge opportunity if your shop wants to expand that. But really for that individual technician that was a killer technician and wants to work for themselves but doesn't want to spend the ton of money that it takes to open up a building like you guys have, you buy a van and some equipment. And you gotta have the chops, right? You still gotta work hard, but you can do all that mobile. And there's so much opportunity, especially in highly concentrated populations like where we are now. It's a no-brainer.
How do you know about your guarantee?
How do you know about
Is it
your
the
guarantee?
same? Well, is there a registration? Like I need licensing and registrations and permits.
Sure.
Do you need all of that as a mobile mechanic?
So
do you get a guarantee with that?
Some of that depends on where you are. So like in California, if you want to do keys, you have to have a locksmith license. New York maybe not, I don't know. The state I live in, you don't need to have that. So legit, you can buy the equipment and start it on your own. Now,
Well, then it's on your ethics.
Sure.
If you're going to back it up.
But if you're a scumbag, are you really going to do all the hard work to get a bunch of awesome customers and run a sustainable business? Maybe, but the odds are pretty low.
I just had the craziest vision. It feels like we're going back to the future with mobile mechanics, because back in the day, everybody was working in their driveway. We were always, jacking up cars, changing the oil, using a creepy crawler, getting underneath. It was like that all the time, everybody was working on their cars. So it kind of feels like it is reverting. I just had that flash in my head of what that would look like. Except now it wouldn't just be me working on my own car, it would be me sending technicians out to the street to work.
Well, what I would do is I try to pick up their car and deliver it, leave my car there, whatever. even if it's miles away. I
For
do
heavy
that
work,
all
I
the
like
time.
That all the time.
Because I worked with one of these my whole life. I've been one of the lucky guys that didn't have to go on that creepy crawler.
Well, let me tell you though, I have, and it breaks your back.
Yeah, I know.
Working on the ground like that, not easy.
No.
That's a hard job.
It is.
And oftentimes we would drop the cars off, swap cars, and bring it into the shop. But if it's something easy, if you're changing something that's at the top of the engine, to just do the service call there.
I go on road calls when they're stuck, and nowadays, basically, if it's not a battery problem, you're pretty much not what you can do. Back in the 70s and 80s.
Right, if it's not a jump.
That's it. Back in the 70s and 80s, I mean, I would go on 4 or 5 with my father every day. They were flooding out cars. The plugs were no good, and the choke pull-offs were always going bad and flooding them out. So we did that every day, every day. And
I
the
used
colder
to
the
do
weather,
that.
the colder the weather, the more you had.
Yeah.
And the wet weather with the distributors and the wires, forget about it. So we did all that.
Oh, that's such a great memory.
Right.
Riding down the block with my dad. And then I didn't even have a driver's license at that time. But I'd be taking the butterfly nut off
Yeah.
and sticking like a screwdriver
Yeah.
or a pencil.
Yeah.
Pump, 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 pump.